Postmodernism, on the other hand, challenges grand narratives and established structures, offering new perspectives on meaning and interpretation. This very juxtaposition is what makes this seminar so exciting. I'm particularly delighted to introduce our special guest for this seminar, Mr. Hiromitsu Hirata, a renowned musician, translator, and a writer from Japan. Mr. Hirata has dedicated his life to exploring the intersection of folklore and contemporary art forms. His unique perspective, blending his deep understanding of Japanese folklore with his immense immersion in the contemporary world, promises to enrich our discussions tremendously today. Mr. Hirata has graduated from Waseda University, majoring in Eastern philosophy, and traveled foreign countries to explore folk music. He has made many trips to West Bengal to study songs and tunes of Baul tradition from learned masters. His ongoing projects include research into Baul Fakir tradition, its history, cultural context to translate the songs into Japanese, utilizing concepts from Japanese Buddhist philosophy. He also writes articles about Indian culture and philosophy for art projects and books in Japan. Besides his interest in ethnomusicology and philosophy, he collaborates with industry-leading companies as a freelance translator. Now, we request the President and the Secretary of Krishnapur Center for Folklore to please hand over the and then Mr. Hirata.
Namaskar and Joy Guru. This is Hiromitsu Hirata. My name is Hiromitsu Hirata from Japan, and I feel very honored and grateful to be here, to given that opportunity to speak to the people from Kolkata, where all literal legend giants from past decades. Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, Rabindranath Tagore, Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, from those people I learned Indian philosophy, and I feel very honored to be here again. This is my second visit to West Bengal. I'm still very new to Bengali languages. I wish I could understand all of the beautiful lectures and talks which have been given, but I promise I'm going to study more and learn more Bengali literature and culture. So my current project includes the translation from Baul songs, Bengali Baul songs to Japanese songs. And this attempt requires a deep understanding of the historical or cultural background of both musical cultures. Musical or philosophical or spiritual religious cultures. And I studied Eastern philosophy in Japan, university in Japan, and which included the philosophy of Shintoism, which is a native religion to Japan, and Chinese philosophy such as Confucius and Taoism, also Indian philosophy, including Buddhism or more Vedantic philosophy, Sankhya, the philosophy which you find in Upanishads, and Jainism, other things. And after I graduated my university, I wanted to deepen my knowledge or understanding into the folk literature and philosophies of all around the world, but especially in India, because my major in my university was a Buddhist philosophy, and Buddhism is obviously coming from India, and thanks to that, we have common ground to understanding our human nature. We have concept of karma, samsara, and those which was included in Buddhist terminologies and concepts. So I started to visit India. Before pandemic, I spent almost 4 or 5 years and visiting ashrams and monasteries monasteries in Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Kerala, then studying, practicing mantra japa, yoga, dhyan, also a basic tenets of Vedantic philosophy and Buddhist philosophy. And after, while doing this, like if I had run out of my cost, like money, I would go to outside of India, Europe or Balkan countries, Australia, and as a musician, I was performing on the streets, making money and saving some money so that I can go back to India and continue my study. That was pretty much I was been doing. Yeah, I do it after some so thank you for your patience. Yeah, so it was before pandemic, and after pandemic or the COVID-19 pandemic started, I had to stay in Japan with my family. I couldn't come to travel to India. So during that time, I started my work as a translator, and I was always curious about language, and Sanskrit was my most fundamental interest, like among language, because Sanskrit is the language, like in Japan, we read Buddhist scriptures in Chinese letters, but these Chinese Buddhist scriptures were translated from Sanskrit. Because the Buddhism we practice in Japan, since 6th century, is a Mahayana Buddhism, and most of those scriptures were translated from Sanskrit. And I wanted to be able to read and recite those scriptures in original language. So anyway, after I started to work as a translator. I'm basically in the industry of like apps, like those companies which has a base in United States or British England. They're localizing their products, and I had a chance to be a part of the project of meditation app. So the company is in US, but they're trying to, because nowadays the people in today's world, especially in cities who's working as like white workers, office workers, they suffer too much stress from their work environment or relationships or like time management and anything. Like there are big market for mental health issues. So now these businesses are booming, and I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be a part of, to participate in the translation project of meditation app. And in that work, so they instruct users how to meditate, like close your eyes and put your awareness from top of body and this kind of instructions. And in the end of each content, they have like quotes from sages or philosophers from all around the world. So I will translate some quotes from Lao Tzu from Taoist Chinese philosophy or Shankaracharya from Vedanta philosophy. But this work required me to not only translate, but transcribe. And transcribe is a term which has been used in this industry. Like you need to actually not literally translate from one language to another language, but you need to use your creativity, because if you just translate everything literally, the target audience would not be able to understand, because like in each country, each in cultures, different like background, culture, background and context affects our understanding of the literature. So during that period, I learned how to like be aware of the context of the target audience, and while try to maintain the original meaning or the core message of the source language. And this method is something I'm trying to apply to my project of translating Baul music into Japanese. And like Baul itself, Baul and Takyu tradition itself is said to be originated from Sahoja Buddhist society, which existed in this northeastern part of India from 8th to 12th century under Pala dynasty. So those people like Siddhas and poor practitioners of Sahoja Buddhists, they would also go around like from villages to village and sing poetry. Like they compose poetry and sing poetry which conveys the idea of their philosophy and their practices. And the same tradition, like from over the time, got influence from Sufism and also the flourish of Vaishnavism in Bengal also took a big part of influence of this tradition. And because the Baul Fakir tradition has a Buddhist background, and I found through my journey to meet their teacher and the Baul musicians or practitioners, I found some common background or common ground for me, so that for me I can more relate myself to that tradition far away land from my land. And there are I just came back from yesterday from a sadhu seva which took place in Malda city, like outskirts of Malda city. Like I met hundreds of Vaishnava sadhus, and we shared food and we shared a room and we talked and lived together. And also I had a chance to stay in one of the Baul ashram in Bardhaman, and also enjoyed the Monil Manush ashram. And there I found that those cultures and traditions are pretty much integrated with rural life of ordinary people. In Amrur, the ashram in Bardhaman, I met one sadhu called Ganesha, and he took me to the nearby village where those Baul would go to collect alms, the Madhugori. And me and him went into that village, and I met some didis from village, and they didn't ask what I am doing here, not really. They just offered me tea and biscuits so that I can spend some time with them, and I was pretty much inspired, amazed by their generosity. And all the village people were very kind, and I could really sense their respect to the people into the ashram and Baul. And they would listen to their songs. And most of those village people, I assume, they are not literate, they are not letters. Many Bauls and those people are not even able to read. But they, when they sing and when they listen to the song, they somehow understand, and they still carry that old tradition of folk literature. They understand the philosophy. And this is something very mesmerizing, because in Japan is I think one of the earliest Asian countries which adopted Western culture and secularism. And after the war, especially, the United States wanted to have more control over Japan, so they kind of forced us to like go more secular, becoming more secular in our education, and like that to some extent I think helped Japan to like develop their country without looking back, just building economies and industries. But at the same time, like as Yukio Mishima, one of the Japanese modern novels, like most renowned modern author, Yukio Mishima once said, so Japan will be a country in the edge of East and like very rich in economy and very like practical, like also clever, but inside very empty. And I think like he died in 1980s, but that his words are still echoing with the situation today. Now I feel because we don't have that folk culture in Japan. Yeah, we used to have those wandering bowl-like people who would play music and sing a song, like roaming from villages to villages and communicating the philosophy or ideas of Buddhism or like their spiritual practices through literature. But most of them are now extinct. And I was very interested in these oral traditions of bravados and minstrels, not only singing epics or like cherishing kings or those people in authority, but trying to communicate the way of life, the philosophy, like the ideas to tackle with the issues in our life. And this tradition still exists in India, and it's still very different. In the train, first time last year I came to Bengal, and on the way to Bolpur, I took like Chhatrapati train, and saw one bowl musician with his Ananda Mokol Komok coming into train and started to sing, and all the passengers were like really cheering him up, sing more songs. And I think that was songs like and I didn't understand yeah, so like by witnessing this I was very inspired or amazed like how those people are accepting those power musicians yeah. And I like wanted to learn and deepen my understanding of this Baul tradition, so I started to visit teachers and learn songs from them. And I found in one song, which were given from for initially the Basdev Das Baul from Bolpur. Like very similar resonance, sentiment, emotion, which I found in all Japanese classical literature. And this song is composed by Hama like poet who was born in Java, but still very respected among folk musicians and Baul Fakir tradition practitioners and sadhus. It almost came naturally that this emotion I could relate. Like after understanding the lyrics, spontaneously the Japanese lyrics came into my mind. So I did my translation. Like that was my first attempt of translating Baul songs into Japanese. And I'd like to showcase this song by performing it here, and I hope you enjoy it.
the barrier of religions like Muslim or Hindus, and you can see in their songs their ideas about this. And I think their way of life and like treating people, their behavior to the people, like is the best representation of their philosophy. And I was really hard touched by their welcoming.